Hello and welcome to this episode of Delfield Tech Talk. In this episode we're going to be going over replacing extrusion plastics and the stainless steel strips inside of them. To complete this project, you're going to need some simple tools. You start off with a 2-inch putty knife, a rubber mallet, a drill with a 1/8 drill bit, a rivet tool with its accessories, and some needle nose pliers. The first step of removing the extrusions is gaining access to the top of the unit. So you're going to need to remove the front face, the doors, and the heating wire connection on freezing units. The next step is to carefully pry up the corner of one of the stainless steel strips and slide the strips out from the side of the extrusions. Getting creative with the putty knife can really help this process by sliding the putty knife down the sides and then pulling out the stainless steel strips. Be careful when using needle nose pliers, as you may damage the stainless steel strips if you plan to reuse them. You'll notice sections of heat tape around the unit. Make sure you preserve those or keep them off to the side so you can reuse them later. Here we have a dual temperature unit with a center extrusion, and for these we're going to need to drill out the rivets with a 1/8 inch drill bit to be able to remove the heater wire below it. Once you've removed the center extrusion, you can then pull the heater wire through the holes in the two side extrusions. Now that we have our heater wire removed, we can take our putty knife and split the extrusion we're looking to remove. You can easily slide the putty knife down the back of the extrusion, cutting it in half. Once the extrusion is removed, clean all the surfaces of the old silicone. The next step is going to be splitting the new extrusion that you've just got. Here we can see a side-by-side of the two extrusions, the old one on the unit and the new one here off to the side. The blue line represents the gaps that we're going to be cutting, and we're going to be cutting the extrusion spine right along that center there. Getting the cut started with a putty knife and a mallet, you can then start to pull the extrusion apart, being careful not to damage the part of the extrusion that we do want to keep. Try not to put the bottom of the extrusion on the ground, as you could crush the bottom of the extrusion. Any pesky areas could be helped along with the putty knife and the mallet. And lastly, we can get back to reinstalling the extrusions. Start by applying a thin bead of silicone along the center of the old extrusion. From there, we can place up the cut extrusion that we just took apart, drill in some pilot holes, and place in some new rivets. Align the plastics as you see fit or how they looked before, and then continue drilling your pilot holes and inserting your rivets. I suggest starting at the top and going down, as you can keep from having the extrusion start to wave. Once you get your extrusion mounted back up, you can start to run your heater wire through the extrusion and replacing your heat tape. On units with multiple doors, you'll have to run that heater wire back through the extrusion holes before you start putting in that center extrusion mold. Once that's all back together, you can start to run your heater wire back through the rest of the unit. You can continue to rivet and fasten any extrusions needed. Once you get your heater wire up through the top, you can start to run your heater wire through the hole in the top extrusion and out through the top of the unit. If you've got new stainless steel, peel off the blue plastic before you start reinstalling them. Reinstalling the stainless steel strips is as easy as sliding the strips down the plastic extrusion. Once you're done installing all of the extrusions, go ahead and place a thin bead of silicone along both sides of the extrusion. Thank you for watching this episode of Delfield Tech Talk. You can always get more great information on our YouTube channel and our website.